Hola mis serenitas, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Chiquita Serenita, and today, none of you guys asked for this, but we're going to do this anyways because I had about 3 people in my Spanish videos who asked for this specifically, and I just thought I would include you guys just in case you guys were wondering, or maybe this video helped you guys in any way. You know, you never know. So I decided, you know what the heck, just add you guys with it. You guys go along the ride, and you know, just close through this with us, just coast through this. And what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be comparing Beauty Creations Island Girl with Beauty Creations Jasmine palette. Now, I'm not going to do arm swatches of all of these colors. That's not going to happen here. Because if you guys know that each one of these palettes has about 35 shades. And 35 shades fit on 2 of my arms. And unfortunately for you, I only have 2 arms. I wish I was Goro from Mortal Kombat and have like 4 arms for you guys, but the truth and reality of my existence is that I only have 2 arms. So we're going to do side-by-side comparisons, and then I'm going to take some very similar shades from each palette. Like I'm going to put similar shades that I see from the Moana Island Girl right here, and then the Jasmine palette right here, and we're just going to do it like that. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, and we're also going to be comparing this one to the Fade Into Hue from Colourpop, because they also asked me that, someone asked me. But I'm going to start with these 2 first, because I feel like I don't want to have to mix. This is from the same company, technically, so we're just going to keep it between us like this, okay? Then we'll add little man over here. So this is the Island Girl right here. And then we'll see how we're doing, because these palettes are like huge, man. I was like, I don't even know how the heck I'm going to do this. And this is the Jasmine palette. So I'm hoping you guys can see it, because obviously I don't even know if you're going to be able to tell the difference. To me, they do have similarities, like the yellow tones in here. Obviously there's some yellows in here that I would compare. And then obviously the greens in here, but you would think the green in here is not actually, there's actually one green that looks a little similar to that matte green over here. And that shimmer looks nothing like this green shimmer. Now, I'm not going to swatch any glitters. I'm telling you guys that all of them have really unique glitters. There are no repeats whatsoever. If anything, this glitter right here might look similar to this glitter right here. But even then, there's a tone difference, so they look nothing alike. And obviously, Island Girl has no purples, whereas Jasmine has a ton of purple shades in here. It has that matte black. Island Girl doesn't have a matte black. This one has a ton of neutrals. Even though these ones have neutrals, this one has more practical neutrals. It has that deep dark brown right here. It has these maroon type of colors. This one doesn't have any maroons. This is more of an orangey, coral, pink, blue with, you know, greens, obviously. If I'm going to compare anything into these, between these two, I'm just going to compare the blues, obviously, because that's the only things that really stand out to me right now. They don't really, I'm going to compare the blues and the greens. But this one has purples. This one doesn't, clearly. There's about 1 pink shade. And they don't even match. So I'm not even going to bother with that. They have no differences. There's about 1 matte brown in here that on this one that I could compare to that one. And then 1 yellow, maybe 2 tones yellow. So that's what we're going to do. Let's just do that real quick. And I'm just going to swatch them and show you guys. I'm not going to really like do it one by one. We're not going to do like regular live swatches. I'm just going to swatch them and then tell you guys, this is going to be the Island Girl one, okay? And this is going to be the Jasmine one. And that's what we're going to do, okay? Okay, you guys. So these are all the greens and blues in the Beauty Creations Island Girl palette. Like I said, you guys, these have a ton of blues and greens in there. You guys would not believe. Compared to the Jasmine, I was actually surprised because the Jasmine one literally has 2 greens in there. 2 greens. And it has like a couple of like 4 blues. Yeah, it's not that many blues. Honestly, I was very surprised. Yeah, and then this one is the ones from the Jasmine, right? So you have those 2 greens. This is a green shimmer with glitter, and then this is a really pretty green. I was trying to compare that first green to this green. They look very similar, right? Their first 2 greens on there. But all the other ones are totally different. And you have a lot more variety on the Island Girl versus the Beauty Creations Jasmine palette. This one literally has 2 greens and then 4 blues. And then that's it. That's it, you guys. Like, there's no comparison. Obviously, this one wins because this one's a lot more variants of blues and greens. More options in there. Yeah, and the only one that really looked patchy was that one. And I still like it. It's really pretty intense teal type of shade. So, yeah. let me take this off and then we'll swatch maybe the yellows and a couple of browns. I think I saw like maybe 2 browns in here that are comparable. Other than that, each of these ones do have a blue glitter in there, but I won't be swatching the glitters because they're not even close to comparable. They're totally different. Like I said, all the glitters are unique to each palette, so there's not worth comparing to them. So yeah, let me do that, you guys, and I'll be right back. So now these are the sort of light beigey, yellow, brown tones that I could find some type of similarity with. Even then, they are not like alike. So these are the ones from the Jasmine palette. As you guys can see, I tried to compare it both. This is the only yellow tone in this new Eileen Girl. And this is just a very bright yellow shimmer. They have about, I want to say, they have a couple more yellow tones I could do real quick here with you guys. But there's like not even similar. There's a ton of yellow gold in the Jasmine one. Obviously it is Jasmine, so it's going to have like a ton of yellow. But nothing that I would say, honestly, okay, you know what, this is for sure going to be a dupe on the other side. Like I said, look, they have a ton of yellow on the Jasmine one. A ton. But and a whole lot of like neutral brown tones too. I happen to swatch the only 2 light matte browns in there. And this is the dark matte yellow. This is a brighter, bold yellow shimmer. This is more of like a gold shimmery shimmer. And that's a gold, that's like a bright yellow shimmer. But like I said, you know, tons, there's like not even close. Literally only 1 yellow shade on the Eileen Girl. 1 yellow shade, you guys. That sad yellow shade right there, that's the only yellow shade. That's a matte yellow on that side. And then you have these beigey tones. This brown is pretty much the most unique, pretty much the only brown. It's the only brown. Look at it. Besides that bronze. We can't really count that bronzy shimmer, because it's not really matte brown, you know. This one has one little sad brown, and that's it. And then you have Jasmine over here, and Jasmine has just all these, even this dark chocolate brown, which I love, and it has these light beigey tones, and it just has all this yellow in there, just like crazy amount of yellow. Like I said, look, just no comparison. There's no comparison. Obviously, if you want more of these gold yellowish tones, then you would go for Jasmine more. Because as far as brown goes, Jasmine wins. And yellow wins on Jasmine side too. This one has a little sad version of neutrals on this side. Yeah, so let me take this off. And I'm just going to pretty much move on to comparing the new palette to the Sweet on Hue. I'll probably do some little side-by-side comparison with the Jasmine. But other than that, like I said, you guys, I have no difference. It's really up to you. You know, do you like all these tones in here? I think you can get away with owning both, honestly. They're like $19 each. It's not a huge amount of money, but like I said, look. This one just has more of those blue green tones, a ton. And it has those pinks, those red, those coral shades. And this one is just like a lot of blue. I mean, it's like a lot of purple, bluish tones, and then it only has those 2 sad green shades. But it has a ton of gold and yellows, and it has those beautiful neutrals that you want, you know? It's really up to you. I have no preference between these 2. Honestly, I'm glad that I have both of them because I feel like they complement each other really well. So now I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison with Jasmine and Colourpop's Fade Into Hue real quick. Hopefully, it'll help you guys decide, you know, whether you guys want either one of these palettes. I honestly think it does have a little bit of some similar colors in there. I'm really going to do some little swatches here for you guys. I do want to do that for you guys, but I don't see a whole lot of colors that I can compare, honestly. This one right here, that's called Iconic, does a little bit look like this one right here. So I do want to do comparison of the blues and the purples from this palette. And I think the yellows definitely, because there's a lot of yellows in here. Yeah, only one of the greens. This green right here, down here, this green looks a lot similar than this green that I did earlier. So I might compare that to pinks. Yeah, I don't see any none of those pinks compared to this one at all. So let me do definitely the yellow, and then we're gonna do the green, that one green right here that I said, and then I'm gonna do pretty much any blues that I see similar to this one, because I know there's one blue that looks very similar to this one, and I definitely want to compare. There's about like 2 purples in here that I can compare to. So let me do that, okay? So these are the tones in the Fade Into Hue from Colourpop. These, I put 2 of the most similar green shades because literally Jasmine only has 2 greens. And then the most similar shade of the blue in here. Jasmine has about 3 blues, but not a whole lot of comparison between the blues that I found over here. There's maybe like 1 more blue that I forgot to swatch. But other than that, I'll put it down here because it is another type of blue, but they don't really look that similar, you guys. So yeah, these are the 2 right here, and obviously that first shade, they don't really look that similar. They're both shimmery type of shimmers, like they have a lot of ton of glitter. But this one's lighter and this one's darker, and then that second shade, they look very similar as well, but this one is darker, more pigmented really in your face like that one than this one. They're both mattes though. And then that third periwinkle shade right here, those ones you guys see right here, that's a periwinkle shade. Both, by the way, are super patchy when they apply on. This one just happens to be less patchy from the Colourpop side versus the Jasmine one. This one's like super tense patchy. And then you have that dark purple, which I thought this one is just more darker than that one. And then you have this really light. I couldn't really find a dupe for that on here, so I just swatched them. I think this one looks more similar to this one right here. That's not even, no, not even close. If anything, it's probably close to this one, and this is a shimmer. I don't know. They don't really look that close. And like I said, that one blue shade right here, this is a matte. This is a matte with glitter. So I'm hoping you guys could see there's a huge difference between those 2. Just this one has more variety, honestly. This one has a ton of purple. I mean, this one has purple, but it's not like a ton of purple like this. This is literally like a whole 5 purples, 5 blues, 5... You know, it's like a ton of color. And I totally forgot to do yellow, so let me do the yellows real quick. But there's not going to be a whole lot of comparisons between they have a lot of differences. Yeah, it was just that one yellow tone shimmer right there that you guys see right there. That's the only one that I can really compare to. The other ones are just too much of a huge difference between these yellows. There's not a lot of variation on the... Jasmine has a lot of yellows, but nothing that I could really compare to the Colourpop yellows, if you guys can see it. Look. Like, they're not that similar. They look kind of, maybe they can be, but they're not. It's just too much of a formula difference. Some of them have glitter in it. Some of them are shimmers. Some of them are mattes. Some of them are bright mattes. And it's just like, yeah, there's not. I don't even think it's going to be close to what, obviously, from what eyeballing it. Like, this one right here is called Abstract. This is from the Colourpop end. And then you see this one, which is from the Jasmine end. And this is a shimmer. This is a matte. And like I said, look. Like, there's nothing to compare them to. Next, we're going to compare Island Girl from Beauty Creations to Colourpop Fade Into Hue. I don't really see a huge similarities between these 2. Obviously, this one has some blues and some greens we can compare it to. It doesn't have no purples. It has 1 yellow, 1 sad yellow. And then this one actually has some pink, some corals that I can compare to the Fade Into Hue, but it's not like a huge difference. Obviously, Fade Into Hue is a rainbow palette, so there is no orangey. There's exactly 1 orangey tone in the Island Girl that I could compare to Fade Into Hue. Okay, so let me apply the colors that are similar from the Beauty Creations Island Girl on this arm, and then I'm going to compare it to this one. Okay, so these are the shades that I could find from the Colourpop Fade Into Hue that are kind of similar to the ones from Beauty Creation Island Girl. Like, you guys can see that first shade of yellow. There's only 1 yellow in the Island Girl, and that second shade is the darkest iconic blue that I could find on the Colourpop's end versus this one right here. They do have a little orangey type of shimmer, like this matte, I mean. It's like an orangey coral type one, but this one is a matte with glitter, and this is just a regular matte. They do have this one that's very similar to this side right here, but this one's really patchy. That one's a little bit patchy, not that much. This is a matte. This is a matte with glitter. So they're like really similar in a way, but then at the same time, they're not even close. This one is green, and then you have this dark green. I couldn't really find, I just compared it to this one really, and then I swatched this one just for like measure. So you guys can see there are a little bit of shades that are comparable. Other than that, this one just happens to have more of pinks that I cannot find in the Colourpop Fade Into Hue. And it has those neutrals in there, thrown in there, you know, the little neutrals that it does have. And then obviously a lot of differences Now, as far as like quantity goes, the Beauty Creation has more, like, what, 3 or 4 more tones and shades in there, versus Colourpop only has like, what, 34 shades? I don't even know. I think it's 32. Colourpop has 30 shades. This one has 35. So there's like 5 more shades in the Island Girl palette. And like I said, you know, it's really up to you guys. I don't normally do these type of videos because not only does it take time away from my kids, and my kids are in the background, you know, they're either hungry or they want me, like, are you done, Mom? Because they get desperate. They want me just spend time with them. And I get that, right? A lot of times people expect me to do these like comparisons, and I just don't have those palettes anymore. A lot of times, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times, if I didn't like the palette, I will put it right away on a Macari and I'll just sell it. I won't keep it. So just in the future reference, if you guys want me to swatch anything, I don't want you guys to get, you know, like get offended if I say I no longer have that palette. Because people, I remember at one time someone told me, no, I think they wanted me to do a review in Spanish. And I was like, I don't have that palette no more. I sold it. And then I think they were bothered by that. And I was like, well, you know, if I don't have it anymore, I'm not going to keep anything I don't want, or it's just going to take up space in my collection. I'd rather just give it up and use that money to get something that I do want. You know, that's how I do it. I don't keep it. I may be a YouTuber, but I'm not going to have something sitting on my shelf so Urban Decay can release something 5 years later and you guys can expect me to compare it to. That's not the way we roll here. I'm not going to do that. But other than that, I hope this helped you guys. If I had the time, I would do pretty much a lot of palettes, but I just don't have the time right now. It's just, my life is crazy. Hopefully this video helped you guys decide. If you guys have one palette and you don't need the other one, I'm hoping I helped you in some way, okay? So I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. And until next time, stay warm, stay blessed, and stay magical. Bye, you guys.